Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have Synchro Altergeist. We're just mixing in the Synchro and Altergeist engine. We're not specifically playing the negate version where we end on VFD or Herald or Savage Dragon. We are playing the draw variant where we draw like 5 or 6 cards in turn. Just a really nice deck, and we're up against Infer Noble Knight, and they've opened 3 hand traps. Yep, there's a reason why I do not play too many hand traps, and we're going to see it here. We're going to start with the tuning. We're going to mill in impermanence, unfortunately. We're going to go ahead, link into Linkariwo, go into Halki Fibrax. He's going to imperm that, and we do have the Compulse and the Cosmic Cyclone as backup, so that's pretty nice. He's going to go into an Isolde, and we will just Compulse that, and the Isolde will resolve, getting Sublimation Knight for next turn, because he can't do anything because his hand is clogged up with hand traps. We're going to discard Silcoitus for a Jet Synchron to go into second Halki Fibrax. We don't have much of a choice but to use Call by the Grave here, and we go into 001. We're going to go into Link Cross and summon 2 tokens. We're going to go ahead and use Linkariwo, get rid of 1 token for it. We're going to go into Barricade Board, go into Mecha Phantom Beast Lion. We're going to go get 3 tokens, and 001 will trigger summoning itself. Auroradon will trigger, summoning out the Lion from deck. We're going to go into Hyper Librarian, Lion will trigger again, summoning out a token. We're going to go into Formula Synchron, draw 2. Next we will go into Axel Synchron. We get draw 1, Axel Synchron trigger, increasing its level by 1 for Jet Synchron, and then we can finally go into a Croc Dragon, drawing 2 more cards. So just like that, we've already refilled our entire hand. Just a very strong deck in general. He's got the X-Paladin. I should have just used Cosmic Cyclone on the X-Paladin Squeak Knight, because I do have 2 anyways. It's not like they use their spells and traps that much. They're going to go install, we're just going to imperm that, and they're going to try and attack over our Crocodragon. We're going to use these 2, revive back to Silcoitus, and then we're going to use Silcoitus Bounce Back Protocol in order to go ahead and shuffle that back. At this point he just surrenders, he literally cannot do anything. His hand, unfortunately he did draw the Cyframe Driver. I'll sympathize him in there, but we did have the pop from Crocodragon at this point, and on top of that we did have an extra Cosmic Cyclone. So if they try to do any shady stuff with Phoenix Blade, if they try to play around any monster effects with a card like say Gearfried, we can just banish the equip spell with Cosmic Cyclone. It just has a lot of utility in today's metagame, I think. So we'll go on to our next duel now, shall we? So here's our next duel. We're up against Unchained. I just feel that Unchained is a pretty decent deck in itself. It's got a Rhoda, which is very nice. They're all about just destroying their own cards to generate advantage, and they have they can also link some using your opponent's card with materials, which I think is a very cool mechanic. So we're gonna go through the steps of the combo. Unfortunately, we do fall to the infinite impermanence, but I guess we can just set our own impermanence and pass. Unchained don't really play too well through a hand trap or 2 if you know the right place to strike. Like right here they couldn't really do anything once I negate their Sarama, and they used Pot of Desires in the same column as my impermanence, so it did get negated. So they set an impermanence and Imperial Order. We're going to go through the steps of combo again. We get impermanenced again, but I think we can still do a fair amount of the combo even through impermanence, because we haven't used our normal summon yet, and we do have the Olion. As you saw, I discarded that multi-faker off our Jet Synchron just so that we can revive that manifestation later. We're going to summon 3 more tokens. We're going to use our Auroradon to go ahead, summon the second Lion. This is the main reason why I run second Lion, just comes up so often. Crocodragon will draw 3, which is pretty insane. I shouldn't have just set that Cosmic Cyclone now, I should have just set it during main phase 2. But it doesn't matter too much. He's going to go ahead, activate some more stuff, and since he doesn't have any cards in his hand, he cannot trigger Unchained Soul thing. So we're going to use Manifestation and the Cosmic Cyclone, trying to get rid of the Imperial Order. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, and we're just going to go ahead and use Crocodragon to destroy his abominable Unchained Soul. I don't want it to attack over me. We're going to use Silcoitus, bounce that back. bouncing back manifestation. We can just trigger multi-figure again next turn. Super nice. He's gonna get the pop for the Silcoitus, and we just return another card to our hand. We're gonna go ahead, discard 2, trying to pop the Abominable Unchained Soul. Unfortunately, it backfires. So now it's his turn again. We go ahead. He surrenders because he knows our set card is Manifestation. We can just go ahead, summon the multi-figure again. His Rhoda will just get negated with Imperial Order, and he can't really do anything from there. He knows that his Abominable Unchained Soul will just get bounced, and since it left the field, it'll go to bottom deck. And he is left defenseless at that point. We can slowly take control of the game using our what do you call it? The Altergeists. And this is what's great about this deck. After doing Halki Fibrax combo, just because of the sheer amount of draws you get, you can just take control of the entire game using the Altergeist. Just a very nice deck and all. So we'll go on to our next duel now. For our next duel, we are up against Pure Numeron. Pure Numeron isn't actually that great of a deck unless you're playing the Blind Second variant, the OTK version. But if you're playing the OTK version, I don't really recommend playing Dark Ruler because it does stop your opponent from taking damage. So we're going to start off with the tuning. Now this time we will not get hand trapped, as you see here, and I'll show you the full combo. We're going to go into Halki Fibrax. We summon out the 001. We go into Link Cross, summon out 2 tokens. We're going to tribute 1 for our Link Rebo. Link summon Barricade Borg Blocker or Rorodon. We're going to summon out our 3 tokens. And then we're going to use 001 in Graveyard. Summon itself, a Rorodon effect to tribute 2, summoning out Olion. We're going to go into TG Hyper Librarian now. Olion will trigger summoning token. We go into Formula Synchron, so we get 2 draws. 1 off Librarian, 1 off Synchron. We go into Axel Synchron, getting another draw, and we'll increase the level of the Axel Synchron. And finally, we'll go into Crocosaur, both of us getting a draw again. It's not every day you do see a 5,000 attack point Crocosaur. We had a lot of cards in our hand. Unfortunately, we get Dark Ruler, but Dark Ruler does not even hurt our deck even a little bit. At most, it just stops our Crocosaur. But once again, doesn't stop us too bad. I believe we compulsed his Planet Pathfinder. We're going to use Melancy, get rid of his Call by Grave. We're going to attack for some more damage. Link Rebo trigger, just tributing the Melancy. And now since we search another card, the Croc Dragon's attack will increase even more. And we got the search from Multi-Faker, so we are guaranteed to just get it next turn. Once again, Super Poly doesn't work that well against this Hydra. I just want to take this moment to mention that most cards that get rid of normal combo decks like Kaiju, Sphere Mode, Super Poly, Dark Ruler, none of that applies in this deck just because of the sheer amount of control we do have on the deck. We're going to trigger Multi-Figure effect, summoning Silcoitus. He's going to activate Dark Ruler no more. Once again, that does nothing to our deck. We're going to imperm his Pathfinder, and he is going to concede just because he can't do anything at this point. This is just a very, very strong deck. I think it could potentially see some meta play. Definitely weaker than Synchro Eldritch, unfortunately, but I just like this deck a lot as a whole. So let's go on to our deck profile now, shall we? So here we have our deck profile. We start off with 1 copy of Conquery, 3 Marionetter, 3 Multi-Faker, 2 Silcoitus, and 3 Maliseek. That's just our main Altergeist engine. You won't really see anything apart from this in any other build, just your normal Altergeist monster lineup. 2 copies of Olion. The 2 copies does just come up a lot. Sometimes if you just need one that's follow-up, sometimes if you just if you do have the extra normal summon, as you saw in game 2, we just normal summoned the Olion and we were able to take the game from there. Playing 2 is kind of mandatory and is very nice to have. 1 copy of 001, the only reason why we run 1 is because we can just recur it over and over again. 3 copies of Maliseek. The 3 is definitely what you should play, just because it does kind of conflict in terms of your normal summon, but whether you go for the Altergeist engine or your Synchro engine, Totally depends on your opponent and the current game state, and that's what I really like about this deck. It can just adapt to any game state you like. Melee Seek does come up often in terms of summoning it with Multi-Faker, or if you want, sometimes you can just keep it in your hand, wait for another day. Usually you're running just 6 copies of your Multi-Faker, but in terms of this deck you draw 5, so you just those odds increase a lot. 3 Mario and 3 Melee Seeker, definitely what you have to run. 3 copies of Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron is Jet Synchron, you cannot go wrong with that. Just Jet Synchron, just super great, especially because it's searchable with tuning. And another reason why I run Jet Synchron over other cards like Despot 003 and stuff, mainly because it just goes into Link Rebo, and Link Rebo is absolutely necessary for the combo. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. I just run 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone over other hand traps. Cosmic Cyclone is very important in the current meta right now, just because of the Numeron decks like Numeron Generator, Numeron Eldritch. Eldritch in general is very important to have Cosmic Cyclone for. Any back row deck like another Altergeist deck, Cosmic Cyclone is important for. There are just so many matchups where Cosmic Cyclone is just very important. It does not come up in some matchups like Rock deck or Dragon Link, but Cosmic Cyclone is just super duper great and very important to have. 3 copies of Call by Grave for hand traps, 3 copies of Impermanence. This is probably the most important hand trap right now, mainly because Ash might not really do the job as well. Ash can't really stop your cards that set your elixirs or golden lands, but Impermanence doesn't either, but just does a better job in today's metagame, I think. 1 copy of Altergeist Manifestation. You only really need to run 1. I don't really think you should need to run more than 1. At most, you're just going to set it with Marionetter in not very bricky hands, but the Manifestation does come up a lot, especially if you're discarding cards with Jet Synchron or tuning, but I just feel 1 is the best for it now. 3 copies of Compulse. The disruption just being an extra bounce does help a lot. 3 copies of Protocol. The extra negate does help a lot. And finally, we run 3 copies of Spoofing. The extra search, you just want to get to Faker as soon as possible. That's why we run 3 extra copies of Spoofing. 1 copy of Crooked Dragon, just for the extra draw when it's synchro summoned. 1 copy of Hyper Librarian for usually you draw 3 off this card in a turn. Just a very nice card. 1 copy of Axel Synchron. Use it to go into your Crooked Dragon. 1 copy of Formula Synchron for the extra draws. 1 copy of Access Code. That's probably the best Link 4 as of now. Just very important to have in most decks. I feel that sometimes ODK is even better than World Sword, just because of its board destruction ability, which your opponent cannot respond to. Just a very, very great deck. Card, I mean. 1 copy of Auroradon. The reason why I don't run 2 copies of this is because Auroradon is just super great. In terms of these cards, I'm just going to change and run 2 Link Cross, because that is another one of the deck's choke points. So I guess running 2 Link Cross is kind of mandatory, but we'll get to that in a minute. 1 copy of Prime Banshee and 2 copies of Hextia. These are our Altergeist cards. Prime Banshee, it doesn't come up that often. If you want, you can just replace this with a card like Celine, just getting into that access code easier. But Prime Banshee is just a simple way to go into Multi-Faker very quickly. It tributes an Altergeist to summon 1 from your deck. That effect doesn't come up too often, and its recursion effect is also very nice. So 1 Prime Banshee, not definitely, you can switch this out for a Celine if you want, but for now I'm just running the Prime Banshee. 2 copies of Hextia just comes up in the Altergeist engine. Hextia is just very important. It's one of the deck's main offensive options outside our Synchro engine right here. Out of that, it's Spell Trap Negate, which is very nice. 2 copies of Halki Fibrax. Halki Fibrax is once again choke point, so you do have to run 2 just in case your first one gets stopped. 1 copy of Barricade Board Blocker. It's the only generic dark machine, it's the only generic machine I believe in the entire game, so so you have to run it just to go into Auroradon. 2 copies of Link Cross, another one of the Dex choke points. That's why we have to run 1 if one of them gets stopped. And finally 1 copy of Link Karibo, because it can just recur itself over and over again by tributing level 1s. So that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.